The girl stood at the edge of the marble foyer, clutching a crumpled sheet of "Please subscribe my channel" paper like it was a lifeline. Her name was Lily Harrington, 8 years old, and the only child of Alexander Harrington, the man whose face stared out from the cover of every business magazine in the lobby of Harrington Tower. The building itself was a fortress of glass and steel in the heart of Manhattan, 47 floors above the city, but right now it felt colder than the November wind rattling the windows. Lily's sneakers squeaked on the polished floor as she approached the reception desk. The security guard, Mr. Patel, looked up from his crossword puzzle. "Miss Lily, your father's in a meeting until." "I know," she whispered. "I just need to see Ms. Rivera." Mr. Patel's eyes softened. He'd watched Lily grow from a toddler in patent leather shoes to this small, solemn figure in a private school blazer 2 sizes too big. He buzzed the intercom. "Ms. Rivera, Lily Harrington is here to see you." A pause. Then, "Send her up." The executive elevator was all mirrored walls and soft jazz. Lily stared at her reflection. Dark curls escaping her braid, freckles across her nose, eyes too large for her face. She practiced the words under her breath. "Ma'am, can you pretend to be my mom for the school play?" The doors slid open on the 46th floor. Elena Rivera's office was a corner suite with a view of Central Park turning gold and red. Elena stood by the window, phone to her ear, gesturing with her free hand as she negotiated a merger in rapid Spanish. She wore a charcoal suit, hair twisted into a knot sharp enough to cut glass. When she saw Lily, she ended the call mid-sentence. "Lily." Her voice softened, the accent curling around the vowels. "What brings you here?" Lily's courage faltered. She thrust the paper forward. "It's the fall play. At St. Catherine's. They need parent volunteers." Elena took the flyer. "A Christmas Carol. A modern retelling." The cast list was taped to the back. Lily's name was circled in red. Tiny Tim. Elena's brow furrowed. "Your father. He's in Tokyo until the 23rd, Lily said quickly. "And Mrs. Chen said if no one signs up, they'll cut the mom parts. I just need someone to say the lines with me. On stage. In costume." She swallowed. "Ma'am, can you pretend to be my mom for the school play?" The words hung between them like a dare. Elena Rivera was 34, unmarried, childless by choice, and Alexander Harrington's right hand. She had negotiated hostile takeovers before breakfast and once stared down a boardroom of men twice her age until they signed away their companies. But this was uncharted territory. "I'm not an actress, Lily. You don't have to be. Mrs. Cratchit just worries about Tiny Tim. And bakes cookies. You could do that." Lily's voice cracked. "Please. Everyone else has a mom." Elena looked at the flyer again. The rehearsal schedule was brutal. 3 evenings a week, plus Saturday matinees. She had a presentation in London the following month. But Lily's eyes were the same stormy gray as her father's, and right now they were brimming with something Elena recognized: the particular loneliness of children who grow up in rooms too large for their voices. "One condition," Elena said finally. "You help me learn the lines. And if I mess up, you don't laugh." Lily's face transformed. "Deal." That was how Elena Rivera, terror of the C-suite, found herself in the back of a black town car at 3:15 p.m. on a Tuesday, clutching a dog-eared script and a Tupperware of empanadas she'd bribed the building's chef to make. St. Catherine's Academy sat on the Upper East Side, all ivy and gargoyles. The auditorium smelled of floor wax and teenage nerves. Mrs. Chen, the drama teacher, took one look at Elena and nearly dropped her clipboard. "Ms. Rivera. As in the Ms. Rivera. Apparently," Elena said dryly. "Where do I sign?" The other mothers wore yoga pants and Uggs. Elena wore heels that could double as weapons. She felt their stares like heat vision. Lily tugged her toward the stage. "Come on, we're blocking scene 3. The set was half-built. A cardboard fireplace, a table made from sawhorses. The boy playing Bob Cratchit, Ethan, freckled and earnest, bowed dramatically. Mrs. Cratchit, your beauty outshines the goose. Elena raised an eyebrow. Kid, the goose is plastic. Laughter rippled through the cast. Lily beamed. Rehearsals became a strange new rhythm. Elena learned to navigate the school's parent portal, to pack snacks without gluten, apparently a federal offense, to braid Lily's hair with the efficiency of a drill sergeant. She discovered that Mrs. Chen ran rehearsals like a boot camp and that the prop goose had a tendency to squeak at inopportune moments. Alexander called from Tokyo on the third week. You're doing what? His voice crackled across the Pacific. Playing a Victorian housewife. Try not to faint. A pause. Lily's happy. She hasn't stopped smiling since I agreed. Another pause. Longer. Thank you, Elena. The night before dress rehearsal, disaster struck. Lily came down with strep throat. Elena found her curled on the bathroom floor of the penthouse, feverish and miserable. The pediatrician prescribed antibiotics and strict bed rest. No play. Lily cried until she hiccuped. They'll give my part to Sarah. Elena sat on the edge of the tub, still in her work clothes. We'll figure it out. But there was no figuring. The understudy was a boy. Mrs. Chen was frantic. The next morning, Elena did something unprecedented. She canceled her London trip. Then she called Mrs. Chen. What if I play Tiny Tim and Mrs. Cratchit? Silence. Then, you're insane. Also, possibly a genius. The solution was ridiculous. Elena would wear a bonnet and a crutch, switching between characters with lightning-fast costume changes backstage. The kids thought it was the coolest thing ever. Opening night arrived in a blizzard. Harrington Tower's lobby was transformed into a winter wonderland. Fake snow, twinkling lights, a hot chocolate station manned by the concierge. Alexander had flown in on the red eye, still in his travel suit, eyes bloodshot but determined. He found Elena backstage, half in costume, apron over business slacks, bonnet askew, crutch propped against a flat. You look like a deranged pilgrim. I know. He surprised her with a hug. Break a leg. The curtain rose. Elena's Mrs. Cratchit was fierce and tender by turns, barking at Bob about the bills, then cradling Tiny Tim herself, 5 minutes earlier, with a gentleness that made the front row dab their eyes. When she switched characters mid-scene, slipping off the crutch and donning the bonnet in one fluid motion, the audience gasped, then cheered. Lily watched from the wings, wrapped in blankets, sipping broth. Her fever had broken just enough for her to attend. When Elena as Tiny Tim delivered the final line, "God bless us, everyone," Lily's smile was brighter than the stage lights. After the bows, the lobby filled with parents and kids and the smell of cinnamon. Alexander lifted Lily into his arms. She was light as a bird. You were amazing, mija, he said, using the Spanish endearment Elena had taught him. Elena approached, still in half costume. A little girl tugged her sleeve. Are you really Lily's mom? Elena hesitated, looked at Lily. For tonight, she said softly, I was. Alexander's eyes met hers over Lily's head. Something shifted, subtle as snowfall. Later, in the town car crawling through post-blizzard traffic, Lily asleep against Elena's shoulder, Alexander spoke. Stay, he said, not just for the play. For us. Elena's heart did a complicated flip. I'm your employee. You're the closest thing Lily has to family besides me. And he stopped, cleared his throat. I've been alone in boardrooms longer than I've been a father. I don't want to be alone anymore. The city lights blurred past. Elena thought of empty apartments and airline miles, of Lily's small hand in hers during curtain call. I'll need a new job title, she said finally. County parent, he suggested, half joking. Start with dinner, she countered. Somewhere without a goose. He laughed, the sound rusty but real. The next morning, the Post ran a photo. Elena mid-costume change, bonnet flying, crutch aloft like a victory spear. The headline: CEO's daughter steals hearts, and so does mystery mom. Elena groaned over coffee. Lily clipped it for her scrapbook. Winter deepened. The play became legend at St. Catherine's. Kids still talked about the double cratchit years later. Elena learned to make oatmeal without burning it. Alexander discovered bedtime stories were harder than hostile takeovers. One night in February, snow muffling the city, Lily padded into the living room where Elena and Alexander sat by the fire. She carried a new script. Spring musical, she announced. The Wizard of Oz. I'm Dorothy. Elena raised an eyebrow. Let me guess. You need a wicked witch. Lily grinned. Actually, I was thinking you could be Glinda. She's fancy. Like you. Alexander choked on his scotch. Elena considered. Glinda wore pink tulle and a tiara. She would need to learn to float, or at least fake it convincingly. She looked at Lily's hopeful face, at Alexander trying not to laugh. Only if your dad plays the wizard, she said. Lily squealed. Alexander groaned. Behind the curtain, he negotiated. No tights. Deal, Elena said, and meant it in ways that had nothing to do with theater. Outside, snow kept falling, soft and relentless, covering the city in possibility. Inside, 3 unlikely players rehearsed their lines, not from a script, but from the careful, stumbling dialogue of a family being built one scene at a time. The lonely CEO's daughter whispered no more.